BBN, what is going on? We got another episode of Bleav in Kentucky, and we got a great guest here with us this evening. We got the sports anchor for LEX 18, the co-host of BBN Tonight, Madison County's own, Richmond's own, Keith Farmer is here on the podcast. Keith, appreciate you, man. How you doing?
Of course, doing great. Glad to be on here with you. I've seen so many that have had the chance to talk to you, so I'm glad to fall right in line.
And honestly, man, your ears might have been burning on a couple of them because we had Anna Tarullo on a while back, and she was saying nothing but good things about you. So if your
All
ears
right,
weren't burning, it was all good.
that's all right. I'm not upset at all that she was on here before me. Ladies first.
That's true. That's true. Hey, and kudos to you for getting her back home. We now get to see what Charleston and DC and all got to experience on a daily basis. Now she's back home in Kentucky. So kudos to you, man, for making that move.
Of course, and she's a huge UK fan. Has been. You can go back to some of her older pictures. She's got of going to some old games and everything. Got her UK gear on when she was really little. So it's kind of cool to have her back.
Absolutely. Now, we just coming off the long weekend. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the extra day off for Monday. Those who had Monday off, hopefully everybody enjoyed that. We got the first football game in the books. We got to talk about that. But you talked to Coach Cal today, and I don't know if you want to divulge that. I just want to tease that for everybody to watch it on BBN tonight. That's up to you now.
I mean, it depends on when this podcast is going to drop. I guess is it going to be after 7:30, after 8?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it was good. It was good to sit down with him, and I did take a little grief from one guy. Got to me on Facebook, said, "Do we have to hear from Cal now? Can't we just enjoy what we got going on?" And I get it. I get it. We just started football and everything, but hey, when Cal talks and is available and wants to talk to you, you're going to sit down and talk to him. So it was really good. He was in a great mood. I think he really likes, as he always says, "I like my team." I think he really does like this team. I think it's unlike any other, right? I mean, so many, you got the freshmen, you got your guys that came back, you got your transfers. And that's why I think it makes it so different for him and probably has him excited over, what happened last year. So it was good to sit down and talk NIL and hear what he had to say about that. We talked about just a little bit about the schedule, especially bringing in the SWAC and the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. I think that's awesome what he's doing with those two conferences to help them out and create opportunities for people, to get jobs and things like that. And obviously the McClendon Foundation, we talked about that. CJ Frederick, he said, may not be quite ready, here. He's still coming back. And then in the big Zoom with everybody, he kind of surprised us all and said that there's one person hurt, but I'm not going to tell you who it is. So we got to try to go on the hunt.
That's right. That's right. I saw a tweet, but I'm not saying a word, so we just leave it at that. And then, he let everybody know that he had COVID. So that's,
Yeah.
So a lot of news broke in that interview that y'all had, the little chat y'all had today. So
yeah. That one actually came later with everybody, but yeah, he did say, that he had COVID even after being vaccinated, and he said he was kind of hesitant about saying anything. That's why he kept so quiet, because he didn't want people, to hear that and go, "Oh, well, you got vaccinated and you still got it." He wants people still to. He thinks that's why he had an easier time of it, didn't have many symptoms, because he was vaccinated. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, you said Cal always says, "I like my team," and Saturday we've been waiting to see the football team. Been waiting all summer, and
yeah,
on a consensus, like, we all like our team based on what we saw against Louisiana Monroe Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we all kind of wondered, all right, so is it going to live up to the hype, right? That we'd been hearing about. And for me, I think the things that lived up to the hype were Will Levis's arm, because we'd heard how good it was. And to see him just, fling that first one deep downfield to Wandell. And then, I've seen Wandell. I watched him in high school at Western Hills, and I've seen how shifty he can be. And we didn't see a lot of that. If there was one thing I saw that reminded me of Western Hills, it was probably that second touchdown that he had, where he caught it, bounced off the guy, and then fell on into the end. Actually, the other guy, I think, fell down, and he went on into the end zone. So that was good. I think just seeing the consistent deep ball. I mean, we had, I looked up the stats, and between Wandell and Josh Ali, they were like 27 yards a catch And then you had Isaiah Epps at 18 a catch. I mean, when does that happen last? That's a lot of fun to see, and a lot of play action, which set up a lot of that, which is fun.
And they talked about balance, and it was what, 34 passes and 33 runs, or vice versa. You can't get any more balanced than they were.
Exactly. And the funny thing is Coach Stoops said he felt like it was 90% passing. And the only reason he said that is because that's the mentality we've had. It's all, we've not passed it that much, and especially deep. So all of a sudden it's like, hey, yeah, that's why it felt like 90%, because we did go 50-50.
Right. Because it's been 90-10 run, so 50-50 will feel like 90-10 pass.
Yeah, exactly.
We say 90-50 anymore, we'll both sound like Yogi Berra. So, I mean, to get the youngsters to Google that, because they won't know what we're talking about.
True.
Oh, man. So now, we got to see the balance, got to see the running game, got some stuff to clean up like they always do.
Mm-hmm.
We'll really see more of what we got with Missouri coming in, because that's, by all accounts, that's the pivotal game of the season. I don't know if they're as far along as everybody says they are as far as Missouri goes. I know they won last year, but they're getting a lot of hype to me. But we'll see come Saturday more of what we really got.
Yeah, I think they scored in spurts against Central Michigan, and kind of struggled a little bit on offense. But Connor Bazelak, quarterback's really good. Liam Cohen said today, as far as offense goes, he said that we went with what we were comfortable with in that first game. Now we're going to scout and work at what we need to do to attack Missouri, which is good to hear. It's like, okay, we did what we needed here. Now let's start learning how to prepare and what we need to do in a game plan to get the next team. And I didn't even bring up, I guess we didn't bring up, unless you were going to, the defense, which I thought was phenomenal as well. I thought, 87 yards. I mean, that's whew. And then to get back and get some of the sacks, which was good to see, because that's been a big emphasis in the offseason as well.
And it was an inferior opponent, and they beat them the way they're supposed to beat them.
Yeah.
But like you said, 87 yards. First game, even though you got a lot of veterans, you still had some new guys in there, especially a linebacker. One little blown coverage could have led to an explosive play that put you at 150 yards, but to hold them to 87, you still got to give them credit for that, even though it was ULM.
Yeah, and the fact that most of it came on that first drive when they're sitting down waiting for Kentucky to make a long drive, all of a sudden there's that interception, and they're out on the field real quick before they thought they were going to be out there, and made some of their biggest mistakes early on that unfortunately led to the one touchdown, and like I said, most of the yards. So, but they sure settled down after that, and they look like they're going to be pretty formidable.
Yeah, they sure do. I saw a tweet, was it Chris Leach, I think, and he basically said that Liam Cohen said that the post route to Wandale, it wasn't even in the game plan. They just drew that up from upstairs based on what they saw the previous drive and just put that in just kind of spontaneously. So, I mean, Missouri's got to account for stuff they're just throwing in based on what they see.
On game day, right? Yeah, and like the Isaiah Epps, I think there was a play, wasn't there, where they said it was either Ali or Epps, I can't remember, but it was like that ball was a really tough pass to get in there, and Liam just tells him, keep running. He's we'll get it to you, and sure enough, he did.
Absolutely. Now you see me with my Harlan County shirt on. That's where I'm from. So
all right,
you're in Lexington now and from Richmond, but you also have some WYMT ties. You spent a little time in my neck of the woods before you got to Lexington back in that market.
Sure did. First job out of college. Took me about a year to get it, but I ended up down in Hazard at YMT, and I can't tell you, it was hard to leave there because that's such a great place. The people down there love the station. They love the people that are on there. They are diehards for sports. I mean, when you think about Eastern Kentucky, the Friday nights are when they go out and they just celebrate that team in their community, and it's so cool to be down that way and to cover those teams and those coaches, and they're all proud when they can bring a team, up to Lexington to state and things like that. And so yeah, it was a really cool place to start. Great place to, make your mistakes and learn from them. because they allowed you to do that. And I got to watch some great stuff, man. I was working down there when Tim Couch was a sophomore in high school. And so I saw him before, many people in Lexington really knew who he was, and it was so cool. Waylon Chapman at Breathitt County, who ended up at EKU, Charles Thomas from your neck of the woods, and that whole crew that went back to back in the All A. Painesville won the title with J.R. Van Hoos and Todd Tackett. I mean, 4.5 years, and I saw a lot of great stuff coming out of the mountains there. It was a lot of fun. I think Hazard won a baseball title maybe, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, so I had to mention the mountains. I need to spend a little time down there as well.
Yeah, I got a lot of family down there, man. A lot of family.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, my mom's from Hazard. My dad's from Hyden, Leslie County. And then we got them from Pikeville to South to Laurel County and everything. So in Corbin. So yeah, we're all over.
Scattered all over the place. That's all right. That is all right. Now you cover high school as well in Lexington now, and I'll get to that. But first of all, I gotta talk about that training video y'all put out to get ready for for the upcoming season. Put each other through the paces, you and Eli and all the guys, to make sure that you had, the stamina ready for Friday night.
Yeah, if you want to see that, I'll have to look up his. It might just be Eli Gain TV, but that was Eli's brainchild. Eli totally came up with the idea, and then we might have had a couple. It was when Charlie Walter was here, and he might have added a little bit to it. I might have added a little bit, but really for the most part, man, Eli was like, here's what I think we should do, and he had Eli Gain GEHN TV. And I think he got it pinned right at the top of his Twitter. Yeah, he does. And yeah, we just had some fun doing it, and it got a lot of play. It was so much fun to kind of show a different side of you and them, and to show we were getting ready, just like the players were, that kind of thing. So it's cool.
You were in there barking out instructions, and you had to. He was holding the mic, but he kept dropping his arm. He kept getting that little weak shoulder. Get your arm up there for your. That was hilarious, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff. It sure was.
It was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I gotta ask you this too, because you broadcasting to the whole state. No doubt, maybe you go out to the grocery store, people know who you are, things of that nature, and they want to come and talk sports to you, and everybody wants your opinion on something. And I'm not picking anybody out, I'm not calling anybody out, but maybe you get somebody who tries to talk like they really know and they really don't. I'm sure maybe that's happened a time or two.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Do you just let them talk? Do you correct them? Do you tune it out? How do you handle that when people come up?
It depends on how I think they can handle it. If I think they can handle it, I correct them. If I think they just feel like they know it all and they're just going, I just let them go. I just okay, yeah, whatever, and let them go with it. But yeah, you're right. That does happen a lot. And sometimes even people come up, I know you don't want to talk work, but I'm like, all right, I'm about to talk work.
Right.
But it's all good. I mean, hey, there are worse things, out there, and so it's kind of cool to have the chance to talk to people about sports,
That's true. Especially, it's cliche, but it does get your mind off of, more serious things or more stressful things that you might have to be dealing with.
Yeah.
I'm from Harlan County, but I live down here in Tennessee. There's nothing orange about me at all, so no worries about that. But I had a guy come up to me and want to talk about sports. Some know I do. They know I'm a Kentucky fan and do a lot of podcasts and stuff. But he was talking about Tennessee after they played Bowling Green the other day, and yeah, I think Tennessee's gonna be good. The first half's a little rough, but I think they're gonna be really good. And so I'm listening to him. No, he's going to give, whether you want it or not, he's about to give you his opinion.
Yes.
And he says, I think they're going to be 9-6 this year. And so I automatically I didn't correct him, but that's not possible in college to go 9-6.
9-6.
You can go 6-6. You can go 9-3.
You can even throw in the bowl game. You're still not getting to 9-6.
Exactly. The only way you're even playing 15 games is if you go. If Alabama goes 12-0, wins the SEC title game, wins both playoff games.
Yeah.
You're 15-0, 14-1.
I guess that does. Yeah.
So
But you're not going 9-6 and making no.
there's no there's only a few exceptions to even play 15 games, but there's
Yeah.
no way to get to 9-6. And so when
No.
he said, I'm really excited. Tennessee's gonna go 9-6. And I just immediately I'm like, dude, I didn't say anything. I let him talk. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
said, it's not possible, man.
7-6 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
6-6 regular season, bowl game, you can win. Okay. 7-6, not 9-6.
So when that happened, I said, man, I gotta ask Keith because I know you being on a bigger platform than me, this has to happen to you with people coming up and wanting to just
That's a good one though. That's a real good one.
oh man. Shaden Sharp, are we getting him? We're gonna hear the news later on tonight. Do you think it's the G League's trying to make a push? Do you think
I
he's
know.
gonna go ahead and commit to the blue and white?
I think Kentucky's going to get him. I really do. I feel like there was the connection with, oh boy, Ty. Is that who it was
Mm-hmm.
that he has? And then also, I feel like that Canadian thing, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I think that's got a little something to do with it.
Jamal Murray.
Here's the thing: it's the whole name, image, likeness thing, right? So, can he make as much here as maybe he would in the G League? And I don't know about you. I don't watch a lot of G League games, if any. I don't know if I've seen any. Even as they had that one team last year, and I don't think I ever caught them. So wouldn't you rather go to Kentucky where you can be seen and you're on a big time ESPN all the time, SEC network, and you can build your brand, and then that helps you going forward. And now it helps you now when you're able to profit off name, image, and likeness. So to me, I think it's a no-brainer to go to college, whether it's Kentucky or not. I'm just saying, pick your. I'm not going to say that team. Pick whichever team you want. Yeah. Kansas, Baylor, Kentucky, but go there because you could probably make as much, if not more, and also get the exposure.
You got a guy like TJ Bosner. It's his job to help your brand and craft your brand and get you into contact. If you like video games, he's going to put you in that direction.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer almost.
Exactly. That's what I think too. And again, you're going to be on a lot of TVs where people are going to see you, and you got a chance to, we've seen all these guys starting to formulate their their initials into logos and things. And I think more people are going to see that and know it. So when you do get to the league, now they know it, and it's going to, blow up even more than when you were in college.
Absolutely. Now, as this summer went, I talked with Anna about this. Did, in your opinion, even take the Olympics out, did this seem like a busier summer to you than normal? Because normally you get baseball and NASCAR and things kind of slow down. It seemed like it was just nonstop all the way till now. Was that the case for you?
Yeah, I think part of it though for me was having the show, with BBN Tonight. And so for us, first we were trying to figure out how are we going to fill this show, during the summer months. But then we also had a lot of help from the UK basketball team when they were doing those camps and doing all sorts of things. They allowed us to come in and get some, guys mic'd up. We had a chance to talk to them. And so I think that's what helped it kind of seem like it was so much more busy. And then we had the Barbasol, and then, like you said, there's stuff on the national scene. I just feel like, yeah, it was there's been a whole lot going on that felt like, the draft came along, and then, right into a summer league. And, I felt like football got here in a hurry. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, in your opinion, because you've done it for so long, Kentucky basketball, there's more games. Kentucky football, there's more players. For a while there, they overlap where both are happening at the same time, but each on their own, which one keeps you the busiest, if you separate the two?
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to say because everybody used to always ask me, what's your favorite sport to cover? And for me, I lived basketball growing up. I mean, I was out shooting in the rain. I was, trying to play as many games as I could. I was, trying to make basketball teams, this and that. But man, football is so much fun to cover because you have that 1 week leading up to Friday for high school, Saturday for college, Sunday for pro, and you could talk about the games as they come up. Basketball is just like boom, boom, boom. Here's game, this
Mhm.
game, this game, that game, and as it is, Kentucky usually talks like the day before a game. So you can't really build up, as much as you'd like. You have that one interview and you show it for a 6 and 11 o'clock, and then boom, the game's here the next day. And so I feel like basketball is the one that keeps you busier,
Hmm.
and especially because you got men's, women's, boys, girls, high school, college, it's like they're playing almost every night.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to keep up. And so I do like the fact that football, we talk about matchups. We're talking already. It's Tuesday and we're already talking Kentucky, Missouri. I mean, we really started it on Sunday.
Yeah.
We're going to talk all the way till we get to that game. So it's really cool.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Back to high school too, real quick. Who's the cream of the crop in the Central Kentucky area where you're covering it this particular season?
Amazingly enough, because it's kind of been up and down, two of them are coming from right here in the city, and that's Frederick Douglass,
Mm-hmm.
who's stacked again. And, Kentucky got a Kentucky commit and one that they're hoping to get in Dane Key.
Uh-huh.
And Ty Bryant already committed. And then you talk about LCA. Woo! They're like class 2A, I think it is. I'm sorry, I'm blanking out. Class A, 2A. And man, they're taking on, they beat, 4A Madison Central the first week. They've got a tough schedule. And then Lexington Catholic's 3-0.
Yeah.
So we're kind of pretty fortunate this year. And then last week, I had the chance to go watch Woodford County. Former Wildcat Dennis Johnson, head coach.
Big Den.
The place was packed. I'm talking in the stands around the track. People are just watching this game, and they lit up Dunbar 62-12. And he's just hyped about his team. They're undefeated right now, and they're a lot of fun to watch. Still got Boyle County. They're still Boyle County.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they have a loss this year, they're still going to be tough. And then you probably talk about Corbin down there having, with Travion Longmire.
Yep.
That's coming to Kentucky, and they're pretty good. So I hope I'm not leaving anybody out, but those are the ones that jump to my mind.
Yeah, and a lot of usual suspects. Well, Douglas is a new suspect, but they're a suspect. But Boyle County is I mean, for as long as time, they've been a powerhouse for sure.
Yeah, yeah, going back to the late '90s with the Lefevue brothers and Jacob Tammy.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, in all the interviews, all the people you've covered, what's been your most memorable, your funniest story, interaction that you've had with a player, coach, or whoever you want to pick? What stands out?
So there was one time when I was actually working here the first time in the late '90s, and I went with a reporter. I was just shooting for him at the time, and we went to get Muhammad Ali. And he walks in the room, and he starts doing his like some of his little shadow boxing. And then he's a little slow, but he's doing some of his shadow boxing. And he starts doing his little magic trick where he loses the handkerchief and all that. And I'm standing there just watching it. And I realize I got the camera on my shoulder, but I'm not shooting any of this because I was just taking it in. Right? I mean, icon like in front of me, And there was a lot of people that I've been around, and I'm not like, oh wow, I'm more like, oh, that's so and so. Oh, cool. I'm in the room with so and so. But like with him and with Jack Nicklaus, I think I was just probably more in awe of those interviews that I shot. And then I had the chance, oddly enough, bringing it back around to Muhammad Ali when he passed away. Went up to cover the funeral in Louisville, and I had the chance to interview Sugar Ray Leonard, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's amazing, just to have the chance to talk to some of these people, and so there's been some really cool moments like that, and I've loved it all, but I'm not super wowed by anybody other than, like I said, a couple of the idols that I knew growing up.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And one more thing too about you a bunch of half marathons under your belt and a marathon. So you're a pretty accomplished runner too as well.
Man, I turned 40, and I'd had some friends that were having some health issues and everything, and that were like my age or younger. And I was like, man, I got 3 boys. I got to be around for them later in life, you know? So I just took out one day and just put on some tennis shoes that I had. They weren't even running shoes, really. I mean, they were tennis shoes. And I just ran down to the end of one of the streets and came back. And it probably was a mile or something, mile and a half. And I thought, okay, that was cool. My next door neighbor was kind of a, a trainer. And so kind of taught me how to run a little bit. And then you kind of get the bug and I started running a little bit. And did some 5Ks and things like that. And then I thought, well, I'll train for the half marathon that they always ran in Louisville and around Derby. And I ran that one the first time. And I was like, okay, that was really cool. Wow. So I had somebody talk me into doing a marathon. This was the year I moved down here. And I think I just picked the wrong one. It was Nashville. And you don't think about Nashville being so hilly, but it was really an up and down kind of race. And about mile 14 or 15, I hit this one hill that just kept going up, kept going up. And as I was turning, I thought, okay, now it's going to go downhill. It kept going up just slightly, you know? And I was like, oh man. So I started walking a little bit. Then I was walking, running. It was brutal. It was a tough, but I finished it in a little over, like barely over 5 hours. So
wow.
Yeah, it's a long time to run.
Yeah. So bringing back to Muhammad Ali, did you feel like the Frazier fight where he was like, "That's the closest I've ever been to dying without actually dying"? Was that
Yes.
you or like
When
mile
I got
18?
done, my wife met me after the finish line and I said, don't ever let me do that again. And so far I haven't. I'd love to do it again because I feel like I didn't do it the right way. I didn't run it the whole time. At the same time, I ran for 5 hours, walked for 5 hours, and finished a 26.2 mile, route. So I feel like I did it all right. Probably good enough.
I'm not going to judge you. If you do it again, maybe like Lincoln, Nebraska or something where it's flat.
Exactly. Flat. Yes.
Just a couple blocks in a square and
yes.
Flat as far as the eye can see.
Yes. Yes. I like that idea.
Well, man, Keith, I got to tell you about our sponsor real quick too, and definitely appreciate you hopping on. It's La Terrain Watches. They have linked up with Tony Delk and Walter McCarty and lots of UK players and even non-UK players like Vernon Maxwell. It's a watch company. They make watches for men and women. So if you gotta get yourself a timepiece, whether you're dressed up or casual, or if you just don't want to have to look at your phone and you still want to have that watch on your wrist, La Terrain, Dave and Ben found it from the ground up. If you go to laterrain.com and click on chat, you actually chat with Dave, the owner. So he actually gets back to you. And he's a new father, and we both know what that's like. And he still gets back and answers your questions about styles and accessories and bands and everything like that. So go to La Terrain, LA-TOURAINE.com, and get yourself a nice watch and tell him you heard about it on the Bleav in Kentucky podcast. Keith, man, this has been a lot of fun, and I know you had a busy day and you squeezed in time to hop on the podcast in and around everything you do at LEX and BBN tonight and high school coverage, but it's been so much fun to chat with you and have to get you on again at some time down the road, man. Really enjoyed it.
Sounds good. I enjoyed it too. It's a lot of fun.
Well, man, have a good evening, and no more marathons. With you got one more than I do, so I respect you. So. And everybody, check this out. After you watch BBN tonight, download this episode of Bleav in Kentucky podcast wherever you get your podcast. Go to Bleav.com, Spotify, Stitcher, all those places. Rate, subscribe, review. Listen to Keith and I talk UK football and basketball. It's been another episode of Bleav in Kentucky presented by Bet Online, and we'll see everybody next week.